We have some news here. Looks like Derrick Henry's probably going to be missing on Thursday night. So looks like the Dallas Cowboys Tennessee Titans game will be the least entertaining game I've ever seen in my entire life, aka every Thursday night game that we've had so far this season. Looks like if you had Derrick Henry, you need to be looking for another option. For the love of God, do not be going to Hassan Haskins. Don't do anything in Tennessee. Look at the player props on Underdog right now. Let's look at this real quick because it is going to be the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, you have Malik Willis, more than less than half a passing touchdown. Robert Woods at 23.5 receiving yards. Burks at 21.5. Okay, I'm not even telling you to go and take one of those lines. I think that it is going to be nasty. I think you should be avoiding Tennessee like the plague. Of course, if you wanted to check out any of those Titans player props, if you want to check out any of these player props, promo code FLOCK, Underdog Fantasy, link in the live chat, link in the description, link in the comment section. You've heard me say it a million times before, but when you sign up with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to 100. You can get into drafts with us in the live stream, and it's available in damn near every state. But I think we should be good to start answering questions as soon as we turn this chat to subscriber only, even though I'd assume that only subscribers are going to be watching for the Fantasy Football Championship Week 17. Don't know how many other stragglers we're going to have coming in. But first question I see is, do we start a Mr. Jalen Waddle? So obviously Tua going to miss. Obviously, this is no bueno for Jalen Waddle. And it is a very tough matchup going up against the New England Patriots. Let's pull up the game log with what we had with Jalen Waddle in games that had no Tua Tagovailoa, including the game for the Cincinnati Bengals where Tua left early. Let me just make sure that we are getting this 100% correct rather than going off the top of our head. Okay. So Tua left early against Cincinnati, did not come back until the Pittsburgh game. In those 3 weeks for Waddle, with Tua either missing half the game or Tua not playing at all, Waddle had 39 receiving yards, 23 receiving yards, and 129. Jalen Waddle, if you look at games that Tua's played completely, as well as games that Jalen Waddle's played completely so far this season, has been a borderline top 5 wide receiver. Am I starting him this week, expecting him to be a borderline top 5 wide receiver? Hell to the no, there's no way we could expect that. However, it's Waddle. You got to start him. Even if instead of being a borderline top 5 guy, he's a mid-wide receiver too, he's still going to be a top 24 option. Still got to put Jalen Waddle in your starting lineup. Full transparency, you know I have Jalen Waddle in every league. Now, Eric says, start Hassan Haskins or DeAndre Swift in a full PPR format. Let me pull up the updated line that we have for this Tennessee Titans Dallas Cowboys game. I'd assume the line's going to be a little closer than it usually would be, given the fact that there's some randomness on Thursday night. Usually, spread on this game's 12.5 points, depending on the sports book you're looking at. For the love of God, do not be starting Hassan Haskins. It is going to be disgusting. Can we set an over-under on how many first downs the Tennessee Titans get in this game? Over-under, how many first downs are we seeing from the Tennessee Titans? Let's see what people have in the chat. I am interested in this because how can you move the ball down the field? Obviously, Tannehill missing. Malik Willis looks like garbage. But now Derrick Henry's out. Like, what are we expecting? We have 5-4 as the lines that people are saying in the chat. Obviously, it would be a little bit higher than that, 6. But still, it is going to be ugly. Now, yeah, you go DeAndre Swift, my friend. Mark coming out says, Mark Andrews or Dallas Goedert in a full PPR format. I'll go Goddard. I'm not excited about it. No, we'll go Goddard. We're not excited. Now, Tio says between Montgomery, Amari, and McKinnon, we got to play 2 guys. I think we're going to go ahead. We're going to play David Montgomery as well as Amari Cooper. with McKinnon, I just don't necessarily see the consistent usage that you could expect in Kansas City. They're going up against the Denver Broncos. They're not going to really have to throw the ball. It's not like there's a chance this turns into a shootout. I'm not too excited about playing McKinnon. Now, Cheeky Hobson says, a flock meetup, you promise. You're 100% right. We need to set a date for the January flock meetup. Here's what we're going to do. Live on the stream, I'm going to try to set a date for this right now. Let's think Jan 14th. Let me go ahead and let's look this up. Okay. I have one thing that we have to do on a Saturday around that time. We're going to have a rough estimate. I'm going to confirm that I am free this day. January 14th, Fantasy Flock Network Meetup, Austin, Texas. I will get an official announcement this week, but for the rough estimate right now, we are going to say January 14th, Austin, Texas, Fantasy Flock Network Meetup. Okay, yes, Austin, Texas. Now, Jordan coming out says, after starting 2-4, won 10 straight, and now in the championship game going for a repeat. Hell yes, my man. Says, Trevor Lawrence, Aaron Rodgers, or Deshaun Watson. And in the PPR format, Akers or Garrett Wilson at the flex. Also, which DST for the week, KC, Jacksonville, or the Giants. Really love all the defenses. I'm probably going to end up just taking Kansas City, where I believe they're favored by almost 2 touchdowns against the Denver Broncos. Russ threw 3 picks this past game. They just fired their head coach. I'd probably get a small bump for firing Hackett, though. And then full BBR format, I will go Garrett Wilson over Cam Akers. I mean, I think that you're probably going to be excited about the matchup for Akers. It doesn't really matter. You're getting Mike White back in. It's a full BBR league. I think Wilson is an auto start. And then between Lawrence, Rodgers, and Deshaun Watson, I actually want to tell you to go Aaron Rodgers. Right now, if you're looking at the over-under on this game, I mean, it is supposed to be a very high-scoring contest between the Packers and Vikings. I mean, this game's sitting at a 48-point over-under. I believe the Packers are favored by about 4 points. Let me pull this up. They are favored by 3.5 points. I apologize, but still, I think Rodgers is actually going to have a pretty good week here. Now, Nicholas says, in the finals, we need 2 running backs between Najee Swift, Zach Moss, A.J. Dillon in a non-PPR format. If it was a full PPR league, I'll tell you to go Harris and DeAndre Swift. In a non-PPR format, we're going to play on Harris and Zach Moss. However, if you were to have Aaron Jones missing or Aaron Jones looking like he is going to be a limited player on Sunday, we're going to have to continue to go through and monitor this situation. Then we would go ahead and we'd play Dillon over Moss. But definitely bench DeAndre Swift if it's non-PPR. Now, Ray coming out says, hey, Mason, should we start Teddy Bridgewater or Deshaun Watson and start 2 of Mixon, Dillon, if no Aaron Jones, Walker, or Godwin? Love the content. Thank you, my friend. We're going to go Mixon and Dillon if you have no Aaron Jones. If Aaron Jones does play, which I'm assuming that he does, we're going to go Joe Mixon and Kenneth Walker. Between Teddy Bridgewater as well as Deshaun Watson, I hate answering this if I'm going to be honest. I thought Deshaun Watson was going to be great for the fantasy football playoffs. I really did think that. And clearly we were wrong. I think that we probably need to go ahead and just take our L with Deshaun Watson. But I will still play him over Teddy Bridgewater. The implied team total for both these offenses is the exact same, sitting at about 19.5 points this weekend. But if we are looking at Watson compared to Teddy Bridgewater, Watson will have some rushing upside where Teddy B will have none. They're both tough matchups against New England as well as Washington. It is close. We probably will go Deshaun Watson, though. Now, Derek coming out. Happy to see you, my man. Says Mahomes, Zeke, Dalvin, Lamb, Smith, Njoku, Evans. And then on the bench, we have Henry, Madison, Burks, Gabe Davis, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Deebo Samuel. Who should we start this week? Love the videos. Hope you have a great New Year's. Have a great New Year's, my friend. Thank you so much for being a long-time member of the vlog. If we were looking at getting someone into the starting lineup off this bench, I mean, we can't start Henry if he's going to miss. We can't start Deebo if he's going to miss. So what? The best bench option for us currently is either Gabe Davis or Donovan Peoples-Jones. I would say the worst option in our starting lineup is Mike Evans. I'm still playing Mike Evans over Gabriel Davis as well as Donovan Peoples-Jones. So honestly, my friend, I think we keep it as is. It is such a brutal spot for all the Derrick Henry drafters, though. Dan coming out. Thank you, my man. Happy to see you. Says, made it to the championship week with Allen, CMC, Jefferson, Kelsey as the core with your help. Thanks, Mason. You're the go. White, Dillon, Judy, Davis. One has to sit. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, my man. And I probably end up going ahead and benching Gabriel Davis. Gabe Davis, do you actually kind of like the matchup going up against Cincinnati? While, yeah, Cincinnati has a pretty damn good defense. At the same time, it's just going to be a very high scoring game. The over-under on this game right now is 49.5 points. It is the second highest scoring game according to Las Vegas Sportsbooks of the week. I think that you should be pretty damn excited about getting as many Buffalo Bills in your starting lineup as possible. But realistically speaking, I think that we probably have to go ahead. We probably have to say Gabe Davis is a player we want on our bench. Like, let's pull up the target volume we've had with Gabe Davis. It has been no bueno. Okay, so let's look up Gabe Davis on ESPN. Okay, so Gabe Davis has had 83 targets this season. He's had one game with 8 or more targets. If it was a non-PBR format, maybe you could convince me into playing Gabe Davis over Jerry Jeudy if Gabe Davis has more touchdown upside with Jerry Jeudy now having to compete with Courtland Sutton again. But it is tough. Now, V. Rondo says, Chubb or Tyler Algier in a full PBR format. Thank you for coming out, my friend. Tough matchup for Chubb. Chubb's been very disappointing as well. I still play Nick Chubb over Tyler Algier. Holy crap. I did not notice that. Tyler Algier's player prop this week is 77.5 rushing yards. Ladies and gentlemen, we may be taking the fewer than 77.5 rushing yards. Oh my gosh. I mean, maybe we need to raise our expectations with Tyler Algier if this were underdog has him. I know it's a good matchup against Arizona. He's been good, but dear God, what are we doing here? And of course, if you all want to check out any of these player props, link in the live chat, description, comment section, promo code FLOCK, 100% deposit match on underdog. Now, Dr. Ryan Cecil says, I'm the favorite in my final. Hell yes, my man. PBR, we have Lockett, Watson, Jefferson up top with Dotson, Richie James, Gallup to stream. If they both play, do we start both? What do you do? I think we answered this yesterday, my friend. If Tyler Lockett or Christian Watson play, we play them over these Richie James, Michael Gallup, Shahan Dotson option. I think we rank it as Jefferson 1, obviously. Then assuming they play Lockett, Christian Watson, and then after that, Jahan Dotson, Richie James, Michael Gallup. In the exact order, do not play Gallup. Plays on Thursday, so we're not going to have the clarity with the other two players. And on top of it, with Gallup, like, they're just not going to throw the ball at all. Like we said, the spread in this game right now is 12 freaking points. Now, JJ coming out says, my running back situation's tough. We have Ramondre, Mixon, Etienne, Pollard. Who should we start? I'm picking two because I have Devonta Smith in the flex spot with Garrett Wilson and Jefferson. We're a big Devonta Smith fan. Okay. Deep down, I want to try to convince you to take Devonta Smith out of here. But if you're telling me we have to put him at the flex spot over these 3 down running backs, I'll listen to you, and we will just go ahead and we'll start 2 of these guys. I think we're probably going to end up with Ramondre Stevenson and Joe Mixon. I have Ramondre Stevenson, Joe Mixon, and Tony Pollard all in the same tier in our rankings. I have Stevenson at 7, Mixon at 8, Pollard at 10. I definitely think that we have to be taking him over Travis Etienne, even if Etienne has a great matchup against Houston. I would kind of look to start Pollard over Devonta Smith, if I'm going to be honest with you, though. Now, John says start Dak at the Titans or Lawrence at the Texans. We're going to go Lawrence at the Texans. I mean, I think Lawrence plays in a more competitive game. Dak doesn't have to throw the ball here at all against Tennessee. Now, our next one coming out from Diego says, finals PPR, pick a quarterback between Cousins or Lawrence. Pick 2 receivers between Hopkins, McLaurin, DJ Moore, Dotson, or Zay Jones. Well, let's start with the easy answer. Let's go with DeAndre Hopkins and Terry McLaurin at wide receiver, my friend. I don't think we have to think about this one too much. Between Kirk Cousins as well as Trevor Lawrence, this is going to be a little more difficult. Lawrence has been so damn good that I want to tell you that you have to start Trevor Lawrence. I mean, neither really has much rushing upside. Cousins should be playing from behind with the spread where they're 3-point dogs. Lawrence obviously is going to be beating down the Houston Texans. I probably go Lawrence over Kirk Cousins, but I think that they are close. Ollie coming out says, won my league. It was one of the weird ones that ended last weekend. Won after losing Breece Hall, Cooper Kupp, and Zach Ertz. I even played last week without Jalen Hurts. Oh my gosh. Congrats, my man. I am super happy to hear that. And thank you so much for hanging out with us all season. I am very happy to hear that you were able to take it down. Obviously, Zach Ertz, not that much of a loss, but losing Breece Hall and Kupp and still somehow winning is incredible. And Richard says, pick 2 between Kamara, Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, Jahan Dotson, as well as Jarrett McKinnon. I think we're going to go ahead. We're going to be playing Alvin Kamara and Aaron Jones, my friend. If Aaron Jones were to miss, you pivot over to A.J. Dillon. The Fiji Panini says, Sup Mason, Terry McLaurin or Kirk, or maybe even Shaheed. Do not go with Shaheed. Do not do that, for the love of God. If we're going to be looking at Terry McLaurin or Christian Kirk, I mean, these are 2 wide receivers that I think are in a similar range. I think we have to just kind of throw in the towel here. Y'all know I'm not a big Terry McLaurin guy. The Fiji Panini has been a member of the flock for a very long time here. He knows quite well, though, I'm not a Terry McLaurin fanboy, but I think we probably have to go in his direction. I mean, it looks like Evan Ingram may be the number 1 receiving option in Jacksonville. Now, Jason says, Ayuk or Brian Robinson in the PPR flex spot. If Gibson plays, you go with Ayuk in a full PPR league. If Gibson misses, you go Brian Robinson regardless of format. Reagan says, I made it to the ship following the flock all year. Need to start 2 between Pollard, Walker, Waddle. We have 1 running back spot and the flex. First off, congrats on making it to the championship, my friend. Second off, this is very painful for me. You know it is. We bench Waddle. With no Tua, with the tough matchup against New England, I think you probably just end up having to play Tony Pollard and Kenneth Walker here. Now, Karat says, I'm in the final game thanks to you in a 2-quarterback PPR league and need a quarterback to replace Tua. We're going to go with Carson Wentz, Colt McCoy, Daniel Jones, or Wilson. Is this Russell Wilson? Hell to the no. Probably going to end up going with Daniel Jones. I like the matchup for Colt McCoy. The reason I'm going Daniel Jones is the matchup's going to be fine with him as well. But what you do have with Daniel Jones that you don't have with really any of these other quarterbacks is some rushing upside. I'm not going to sit here and try to act like Daniel Jones is Jalen Hurts, that Daniel Jones is Lamar Jackson. Of course he's not. But if we go ahead and pull up the Daniel Jones game log here, this does make a pretty big difference, even if he's not rushing for 60 yards a week. The fact that he's consistently getting you 30. I mean, he's had 617 rushing yards this season. That's essentially an additional 1,500 passing yards added on. I think you have to go Daniel Jones. Okay. Now, Mindcracker says start a running back, receiver, and 2 flex spots. In a half PPR format, we have Devontae Adams, Jalen Waddle, Zay Jones, Gabe Davis, Christian Watson, running back Fournette, Aaron Jones, Bam Knight, Rashad White. Worried with Las Vegas and Miami quarterback changes and backups. I completely agree. You should be worried about it. Now, can we be so worried about Derek Carr getting benched that we have to go ahead and we have to sit Devontae Adams for Zay Jones? No. Devontae Adams has been bad. It's a horrible matchup going up against the 49ers. Let me see how this line moved once you had it being announced. Derek Carr was benched. Okay, the line actually dropped down to San Fran 10-point favorites. So yeah, Vegas is saying that this is going to be a massive downgrade at quarterback from Carr to Stidham. You still got to play Adams over these guys. Running back, we're going to be going with Leonard Fournette. And for the 2 flex spots, we're going to go Waddle and Aaron Jones. I know it's gross. It is. And we have to dramatically lower our expectations down for players like Jalen Waddle and Devontae Adams compared to where they were previously. 100%. But at the end of the day, just because we have to lower our expectations doesn't mean we should put them on our bench. It's just not good timing for the fantasy football championship. And UE coming out says, Purdy or Fields? You got to go Justin Fields. Don't overthink it. Fields going to crush this week. Who would you start? ETN, Swift, Algier, Dobbins, Zay Jones, Rashad White, Debo. My receivers are Higgins and AJ Brown. Okay, so for that flex spot, we're going to go ahead. We're going to just play Travis Etienne. Etienne's taken a massive step back over the past month as the Jacksonville Jaguars have leaned with just throwing the ball more and more, but still a great matchup against Houston. Ollie coming out says, a league-winning team, Gardner Minshew, big week, Singletary, McKinnon, oh my gosh, Hill, Higgins, Dotson, and Tyler Algier. That is obnoxious, my friend. The fact that you won with that team, the fact that you just won your fantasy football championship with Gardner Minshew, Devin Singletary, Jerick McKinnon, Jahan Dotson, and Tyler Algier in your starting lineup is unbelievable. Almost everyone had their best game of their season. I was a 32% to 68% underdog going into it based on ESPN. Crazy. That is truly ridiculous, my friend. Congrats. I am happy for you. And Barry says, need 2 in Happy BR League. Tyler Algier, Cam Akers, Walker, Pollard, Dobbins, and Hilliard. I'm going to go with Tony Pollard as well as Kenneth Walker. I don't love the matchup for Kenneth Walker going up against the Jets, though. Cameron says $500 on the line in a Happy BR format. Are we going to start Herbert or stream a QB? Also, we need 2 running backs and a flex between Dylan, Pollard, Swift, Jay Williams, so Jamal Williams, Hollywood, and Mike Williams. 2 running backs, we're going to be going with Pollard, and we are going to go with Dylan if Aaron Jones were to miss, Swift if Aaron Jones were to play. And then for the flex spot, we're going to be going ahead and we're going to be playing most likely Mike Williams because I do want Justin Herbert in our starting lineup. Herbert hasn't been who you drafted him to be. Herbert hasn't been who he's hyped up to be. I do want to give him a big excuse saying, hell, he had to play the majority of the season with absolutely no weapons. I don't think it's time to give up on Herbert. But Blake coming out says, Mason, I'm second guessing myself into eternity again. Happy BR, here's the lineup. Henry, Pollard, Connor, Akers, Adams, Waddle, Keenan. We need 2 running backs, 2 receivers, and a flex. The GOAT Mason. No, thank you, my friend, for supporting the channel. Looks like Derrick Henry won't be playing, so it looks like we're playing Tony Pollard, James Conner at running back. Receiver, we're going to be going with Devontae Adams, Keenan Allen. So for the flex spot, it's essentially, do we want to be playing Cam Akers or Jalen Waddle? Happy BR format. Akers is a phenomenal matchup going up against the Los Angeles Chargers. Jalen Waddle has no Tua, has a tough matchup against the New England Patriots. Now that Teddy is officially starting, do we say Akers? I don't know. That's what this question comes down to. The other spots are easy for me. It's just, do we want Jalen Waddle or Cam Akers? And we have almost 400 people in this live stream. Can everybody please go to the live chat for me right now and just spam the chat? Who would you rather have in your starting lineup? Would you rather have Cam Akers or Jalen Waddle? Happy BR League. Please, let's get 400 messages in the chat. And also, if you have not dropped a like in the live stream yet, please go down there and hit that like button. Okay, so now we have Akers, Waddle, Akers, Akers. Akers, Waddle, Akers, Waddle, 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 Akers, Waddle. Waddle, Akers, Akers. So it does look like it's split a bit here. I really want to tell you, Jalen Waddle. I mean, I guess I have Cam Akers in a ton of leagues as well. I have both guys in a lot of leagues. I think it's up to you, my friend. And Dylan says, I have Aaron Jones, Mike Williams, and A.J. Dillon. We need to start 2. I think we're going to go with Aaron Jones, Mike Williams if it's a full PPR format. Of course, that's assuming Aaron Jones plays. Jordan says, am I overthinking benching Alvin Kamara for Cam Akers? In a full PPR format, I'd say yes. Ollie says, you're the GOAT, Mason, when it happened without the flock. No, thank you so much, my man. I'm super happy for you. And Hondo says, 2 flex, 2 running backs, 2 receivers. Got to pick 6 guys. Chubb, yes. Swift, Jacobs, yes. Dobbins, Deontay Foreman. Chase, yes. Amon-Ra St. Brown, yes. Waddle, yes. Thielen, Lazard. Okay, so we already have 5 guys. The leftover players are Swift, Dobbins, Deontay Foreman, Adam Thielen, and Alan Lazard. I think we're probably going to end up going ahead and just playing J.K. Dobbins. If you're looking at my rankings this week, we're going to have Dobbins ranked at running back 23, Swift ranked running back 24, so they are incredibly close. Quarterbacks, Burrow and Kelsey. So yeah, essentially we're just going to go through and we're going to have that Burrow and Chase stack. Hopefully they have a massive day against the Bills for you, my friend. And now our next question coming out from, I believe, Edgar says, split money with me. We got Hurts, Minshew, Jones, Diggs, Jefferson, Etienne, Kamara, Kelsey, Bam Knight, Gano, Jags versus Mahomes, Hill, St. Brown, Jacobs, Chubb, Goddard, Smith. Okay, so essentially we're asking, should we split the pot with the other owner? So let's see if we are favored or dogs in this matchup. I would give him a massive edge at quarterback. Jalen Hurts isn't going to play this week. You're going to get Gardner Minshew. So Gardner Minshew versus Patrick Mahomes, he's going to stomp you. Tyreek Hill, Amon-Ra St. Brown versus Stephon Diggs and Justin Jefferson. I would rather have your wide receivers in Diggs and Jefferson, especially with Tua missing this week. Jacobs, Chubb versus your Etienne and Kamara. Usually I would say he would stomp you here, but Jacobs has Stidham under center now and also a horrible matchup against the 49ers. Your Kelsey versus his Goddard. Your Bam Knight versus his Devonta Smith. So you're getting crushed in the flex spot. You're neutral at running back. You're winning at wide receiver. You're winning at tight end, and you're losing at quarterback. You have a great defense. My friend, I think it is a close to 50-50 split. I think trying to figure out 59, oh God, dear God, can I do math? 51 to 49, 52 to 48, 53 to 47, all about the same in terms of the actual probability. If it's just a one sample thing, it's pretty much dead 50-50. I'd say it just kind of comes down to your financial situation. I don't know how big the league pot is. I'd say if it's like a $10,000 prize for first place, and you're like, hell, I could really use $5,000. I'd probably go ahead and split it with them. If you're saying, you know what, this is just complete fun money, I want bragging rights, then go for it. It really is up to you. Of course, I can't give you advice on that, my friend. Okay. Now, Irvin says, pick a running back to flex out of Mixon, Ramondre, Higgins, and Keenan. I think we're going to go with Mixon, Ramondre, definitely. It's really just going to come down to Higgins or Keenan Allen. If you're looking at our wide receiver rankings this week, I mean, we have Higgins at 11. We have Keenan Allen at 10. We have them back to back. I think it is up to you. We're going to give Keenan Allen a slight edge in a full PPR format. Jesse says, cruise to the finals with your help. Half PPR format, one for the second flex. Jeff Wilson, Brandon Cooks, James Cook, Joshua Palmer, or McCole Hardman. Ooh. I know it's probably not going to be the answer from most people. I kind of want to go ahead and play James Cook here. I mean, if we're going to be looking at James Cook, he's consistently expanded his role. He's playing more and more snaps. It should be a very high-scoring game. Let's go, James Cook. I mean, everybody else is just, Now, Adam says, pick a running back 2 in a flex between Swift, Fournette, Lazard, and DJ Moore. We're going to go Leonard Fournette and Swift. Swift played the most snaps in Detroit, even if the game environment called for it last week. Devin says, for the flex, we're going to go Debo, Chark, or Tyler Algier. We're going to go Tyler Algier, my friend. Ryan says, need 2 running backs in a flex between Fournette, Etienne, Mixon, Dillon, McKinnon, Amari, James Cook. Made it to the finals with your guidance. Already looking forward to next year. Keep up the strong work. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, my man, and congrats. 2 running backs, we're going to end up going with Etienne as well as Joe Mixon. I mean, with Mixon, he has taken a step back. It's a tough matchup against the Bills, but there should be a lot of points scored, and I think he's a very good running back. For the flex between Fournette, McKinnon, Amari, and James Cook, I'm probably going to end up going Leonard Fournette. I'm operating under the assumption that it's a full PPR format. It's a fine matchup going up against the Carolina Panthers when you know you're going to get targeted out of the backfield. If it was a non-PPR league, maybe we change our mind. Obviously, if Aaron Jones were to miss, you play A.J. Dillon at the flex spot, though. Now, Adam says, Mike White or Brock Purdy or Teddy Bridgewater, RIP Jalen Hurts. Just brutal, my friend. Brock Purdy, the issue is they're 10-point favorites. They're going to run the ball in the second half over and over again. Between Teddy Bridgewater and Mike White, right now, if we're looking at the implied team total from the Jets, they're supposed to score more points than the Miami Dolphins. I don't necessarily think the Jets are just going to be running it over and over again against the Seattle Seahawks. Let's go Mike White here. Russ says Schultz or Darren Waller in a half PPR format. You go Schultz. You cannot play Darren Waller with the situation that we have at quarterback and the matchup going up against the 49ers. Now, Karad says, who should I flex in a full PPR format between Mike Williams, Akers, or Hollywood? It wasn't Daniel Jones. It was Mac Jones, LOL. Need one between Wentz, Mac Jones, or Colt McCoy. Super sorry for the confusion there, my friend. First off, let's go Cam Akers in a good matchup going up against the Los Angeles Chargers. Akers, it's difficult for me to say that with too much confidence, though, because I do think the offense in general takes a massive step back. And then if we're going to be looking at Wentz, Mac Jones, or Colt McCoy, right now, if we're looking at the implied team totals, right now, the Commanders are projected to score about 21.5 points against the Browns. They are 2-point favorites. If we're going to be looking at the Cardinals, they're down there at about 19.5 against the Falcons. They're 3.5-point dogs. I think James Conner actually probably ends up scoring a decent amount of those points. And who was the other option we were looking at? Mac Jones. We can't start Mac Jones. Like, there's no way in hell we can start Mac Jones. Let's pull up the Mac Jones game log. I'm sorry, my friend. This is why I thought it was Daniel Jones initially if you just said Jones, because I never would even think about starting Mac Jones. The man obviously has no rushing upside. I mean, he has 96 rushing yards on the season. He hasn't had a game with more than 10 rushing yards since Halloween. He's had 2,500 passing yards. Oh my gosh. Can y'all guess how many touchdowns Mac Jones has this season? I would have never guessed this. Sports nutritionist says 15. Nick says 4. There's no way. It's 4. Are you freaking kidding me? 12, 9, 8, 17, 7, 8. The man has 9 touchdowns this season. How many touchdowns does Bailey Zappi have? Let's pull this up. Bailey Zappi has 5. Oh, dear God. I have to tweet this out. I am very surprised. Yeah, no, so please don't start Mac Jones. I think you go ahead and you probably end up starting Colt McCoy. Actually, no, let's go Wentz. Wentz can scramble a bit. And Minecracker says Superflex PPR format. Are we going to go Brock Purdy or Mike White? First off, thank you so much for always being out here with us every night, my man. We are going to end up going Mike White over Brock Purdy. Like we said earlier, I mean, Brock Purdy's just going to run the ball with the 49ers. And then 1 running back, 2 receivers, 3 flex. We got Swift, Rashad White, Bam Knight, Dillon, or Pollard, who's game time decision. He plays on Thursday night, so if he plays, we're going to know. I think we plan on going with Pollard at running back. And then for our 2 receivers, we're going to go with Godwin and Pittman. Bench Deontay, DJ Moore, Zay Jones. Actually, sorry, I'm sitting here thinking. Should we play Zay Jones? No. We can't play Pittman, right? We can't play Pittman. Let's go DJ Moore. The Carolina Panthers offense has taken the step up. Maybe they have to throw the ball a bit more, given the fact the Bucs have a respectable run defense. So let's go DJ Moore and Godwin at wide receiver, Pollard at running back. And for our 3 flexes, we're going to plan on going with Swift, Rashad White, as well as Zay Jones. And I'm sorry we're all over the place. I can't play Rashad White. Let's go Pittman. This is a very tough question. As you can see, I'm all over the place. This is not helpful at all. But let's just recap now that we've had some more time to think about this. Mike White over Brock Purdy. Tony Pollard at running back. Our 2 receivers, DJ Moore, Chris Godwin. Our 3 flex spots, DeAndre Swift, Michael Pittman. Are we going to flip again? Are we going to flip-flop again? And Dillon. And we're going to go Dillon if you have Aaron Jones banged up, even if Aaron Jones were to play here. Oh, dear God. Now, Shimo says, pick 2 between Lamar, Herbert, and Daniel Jones. If Lamar Jackson plays, you play him. But honestly, I don't expect that to happen. Don't be sitting here holding your breath about Lamar Jackson. I think you probably end up going Herbert, Daniel Jones, but we will play Lamar over Daniel Jones if he's good to go. Patrick says, Chark, Slayton, Ayuk, Olave, Dotson. We got to pick 2 to start here. Stevenson or Dillon. How were the holidays, bud? They were good until I tried to get back. I don't know if y'all have heard, but Southwest canceled every single flight imaginable, so it was a little hectic getting back here. But nonetheless, they were great. I hope you had a great one, my man. And if we're looking at this, I think we're going to go ahead and play Brandon Ayuk definitely at wide receiver. Let me pull up the most recent report that we had regarding Chris Olave. Olave would be someone that we'd play if he made it back, but I'm not going to be too excited about it because he's going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. It's a tough matchup coming off a hamstring injury. So we had the report at 4 saying he got in a limited practice on Wednesday. So if he's getting in a limited practice on Wednesday, I'm going to be operating under the assumption that Olave will be good to go. So we're going to go with Ayuk and Olave. I mean, right now with Ayuk in San Francisco, we still don't know if we're going to have Deebo Samuel. I'm assuming Deebo Samuel will miss. So I'm going to be more excited about Ayuk than we previously were, even if he's taken a step back over the past few weeks. Now, our next question coming out from 172 Gates says, Happy BR, with the loss of Derrick Henry, who should we play between Latavius, who just split the backfield, Chase Edmonds, Hassan Haskins, who's going to be the worst offense in the NFL, Zach Moss or Joshua Kelly? We'll go Zach Moss, and we'll cry ourselves to sleep at night. Liam says, flex Hopkins, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Devonta Smith, or Evan Ingram in a full PPR format. Assuming A. Brown is either A.J. Brown or Amon-Ra St. Brown, we're going to go with A. Brown. I don't know exactly who that is, but we're going to go with him. Jason says, thoughts on the psychology of last league's Monday Night Football players? It always makes me feel like I have a chance this week. I play versus 3 Monday Night Football players in each league. I mean, I think if you are looking, and I've said this a couple times during live streams, I don't like to do it too much. It's what I personally do in my own leagues. But if you are looking at 2 different players that are very close together, sometimes I will go with the Monday night guy. Sometimes I will go with the Sunday night guy. Just to get that extra sweat, because fantasy football is obviously a game that's supposed to be fun. Of course, we're not playing a Monday night game. A Monday night player just for the hell of it, even if he's the worst option. But if they are 2 very similar options, I'm not going to mind it. Now, Cooper says, A.J. Dillon, Terry McLaurin, Wentz equals fewer targets, ? He's been about the same with Wentz and Heineke. Like, don't overthink it. J.K. and James Cook in a full PPR format. Full PPR format will go Terry McLaurin. If Aaron Jones were to miss, we'll pivot over to A.J. Dillon. Salvador says, thank you for helping me get to the championship. We got to pick 2 between Waddle, Dotson, Sutton, Zay Jones. Also, Goddard or Andrews. We will go Goddard over Andrews, my friend. Maybe play 1 in the flex spot. We're going to play Waddle wide receiver. If we're going to have to look at Zay Jones, Dotson, or Cortland Sutton, I probably end up going Zay Jones. Obviously, Zay Jones has been extremely volatile. The issue is Evan Ingram's just been seeing more targets, but I still think we probably got to go Zay. And real quick, we're about to hit 200 likes on the live stream. Please, if you have not done so already, go down there and drop a like in the stream. It does help us out a ton. And Trouble23ATX says, full BBR, we need 2 between James Cook, Jeff Wilson Jr., Damian Harris, Bam Knight, or Herbert. I think we're probably going to end up going James Cook as well as Jeff Wilson Jr., where Jeff Wilson Jr. looked like he was splitting the backfield 50-50 this past week with Mostert. You don't know who's going to be the running back one there. Michael says, worried ETN not playing like Derrick Henry, so him or DK Metcalf. I'm going to play it on ETN. Hey, great matchup against Houston Texans. I'm going to play it on ETN. What's great is they both play on Sunday, so we should have the clarity by the time we have to make that decision. Carl says, thanks for all the help. I'm in the championship game in 5 out of 5 leagues. Okay. I'm going to show y'all how improbable this is. If you play in a 12-team league, right? 2 out of 12 teams make the fantasy football playoffs. So you have a 17% chance, essentially, to make the fantasy football playoffs. Let's go ahead and let's multiply this out 4 times. If my math is correct, you have 1/100ths of a percent of making the fantasy football championship in all 5 of your 12-team leagues. That is phenomenal, my friend. Better, I'll tell you, I drafted over 700 teams. Could not be more proud of our results this season. We will win a lot of money, but that's definitely way better results than I've had. And I need a big 2 for the flex and at PBR format. We got DJ Moore, Christian Watson, Gabe Davis, Latavius, and Haskins. We're the Derrick Henry owner. Do not play Hassan Haskins. For the love of God, let's not play Hassan Haskins here. I think we're going to go ahead. We're going to take DJ Moore and Christian Watson. Gabe Davis not seeing enough targets. Latavius Murray split the backfield with Chase Edmonds. Horrible offense. Let's go DJ Moore and Christian Watson. Now, the Fiji Panisse says, help me with my squad for the finals, bro. Purdy if Lamar doesn't play. CMC, Ramondre, Lamb, Terry, Kittle, Walker, Chargers defense, and Ryan Suckup. Bench is Kirk, Dillon, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Shaheed Cooks. You're the GOAT. Forgive me here. No, thank you so much for being a long-time member of the flock, my man. If we're looking at this, I think that we would say Dillon is someone we need to plan on putting in the starting lineup if Aaron Jones were to miss. So if Aaron Jones were to miss, who do we put A.J. Dillon in over? I think we probably would bench Kenneth Walker at that point for A.J. Dillon only if Aaron Jones were to miss. The next best guy that we'd be looking at getting off the bench into the starting lineup would be Christian Kirk. Can we start Kirk over Lamb or Terry McLaurin? Probably not. I'm not going to be starting him over the running back in the flex spot either. So I think we keep the lineup as is unless Aaron Jones misses, and then you got to get A.J. Dillon in there. Now, Paul says pick 2 running backs at tight end in a flex between McKinnon, Akers, Algier, Dobbins, Goddard, Knox, Schultz, and Michael Pittman in a full PBR format. Lost Henry again for the ship. Thanks. So thank you for supporting the channel. It sucks how many people lost Derrick Henry. I think our 2 running backs kind of have to be probably Cam Akers and Tyler Algier, right? They both have great matchups. Tyler Algier has been just very good. Our tight end's going to be Dawson Knox. And then for the flex spots, essentially, are we playing J.K. Dobbins or Michael Pittman? I'll probably go Dobbins. Even if I don't like the spot. It's going to be such a low-scoring game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let me see what the over-under on this game is. Okay. The over-under on this game is 35 points. Yeah, it looks like it's supposed to be the lowest scoring game of the week, and not even close, to be honest. Okay. Christian says, not sure how new, but the haircut's looking fresh. Thank you, my friend. Are we going to go Allen or Fields? I think Justin Fields is going to crush this week against the Detroit Lions. We still got to play Josh Allen. Definitely have to play Josh Allen. And then pick 2 between Najee, Zach Moss, Rachaad White, Mostert, James Cook, or Hassan Haskins. Thank you, sir. No, thank you for supporting the channel, my friend. Mostert, Jeff Wilson split in the backfield 50-50 at this point. Tough matchup against New England. Bad quarterback play. Let's avoid them. Zach Moss, arguably in one of the worst offenses in the NFL. Hassan Haskins is playing in what is supposed to be the worst offense in the NFL this week, according to Las Vegas sportsbooks. I think we're probably going to go Najee Harris combined with Rachaad White in that full BBR format, given the fact that White will have a few targets out of the backfield. Now, Ty coming out, or thank you coming out. Regardless, thank you for always being out here and hanging out with us, my friend. Says, Aloha Mason, made it to the finals because of you. Help me pick 3 receivers, a running back, a tight end, and 2 flex spots. Jefferson, Chase, Godwin, Chubb, Andrews, Walker, Dotson, Waddle, Dobbins, and Njoku, Burks, Algier. And should we start Jahan Dotson over Jalen Waddle? No. You know more than anybody that I am very biased with Jalen Waddle. I admit Waddle's in a horrible spot. We have to lower our expectations dramatically for what you all have with Jalen Waddle this week. You still got to play Waddle over Watson. So our 3 wide receivers are going to be Jefferson, Chase, Godwin. Our running back we're going to go with, I'm assuming that we already have Nick Chubb in there. If it's Nick Chubb, Kenneth Walker, if those are the 2 guys, or Tyler Algier, I'm honestly probably going to end up going with Walker. I have Nick Chubb and Kenneth Walker ranked back-to-back in our rankings this week. Really don't like either matchup against the Jets or Washington. And then for the 2 flex spots, we'll go with whatever running back we did not start out of that list. And then Jalen Waddle, as we already mentioned. And then for tight ends, Andrews has been horrible. You're probably not having Lamar Jackson again this week. I don't expect it to be that much better for Mark Andrews. I still would play Mark Andrews over Njoku, though. Now, JJ says, should I be concerned of Pollard and the Stevenson injuries? I'm not going to be telling you to bench them at this point, but it will be something we have to monitor until kickoff. It's nice that Pollard plays on Thursday night, so we'll have the clarity by the time we need to make the decision. He says, I know Stevenson's been playing with it. That could be why he didn't produce well recently. Yeah, it's a one-game sample for Ramondre Stevenson. Don't be too worried. If they play, you play him. Floggavelli says, non-BBR, we need to start 2 receivers in a flex between Wilson, Smith, Dobbins, Moss, Rashad White, Dotson, Zay Jones. Thanks for all the great times, though. Thank you so much, my man, for being with us for so long. We're going to go Garrett Wilson and Devonta Smith easily at receivers. I think we're already on the same page of that. Non-PBR format, I will be significantly more likely to put a running back in there in that flex spot. And hell, I think we go Dobbins. Dobbins, it's hard to get too excited about him in a full PBR league when at most you're getting 1 to 2 targets out of the backfield. Non-PBR, that's not something you have to worry about. Lenny says we have one wide receiver spot and 2 flex spots to fill. We have Olave, Dobbs, Zay, Debo, Chark. Who are we going to start? Assuming Olave plays, we're going to be going with Olave, Zay Jones, and then if Debo Samuel plays, we go Debo Samuel. If Debo Samuel misses, what's nice is Romeo Dobbs plays later on Sunday as well with Debo, so we'll have that clarity by the time we have to make the decision, and we'll pivot over to Romeo Dobbs if Debo misses. Now, Durachia coming out and says, need 2 running backs and 2 flexes in a full PBR format. We have Zeke, Swift, Sanders, Tyler, Algier. Quarterbacks, Josh Allen. Wide receiver tight end combo is Chase, Metcalf, Mike Williams, Olave, and Hawkinson. Okay, so I'm assuming our 2 wide receivers we're starting are Chase, Metcalf. So between the flexes, we're going to be looking at Mike Williams, Chris Olave. In reality, I think we we at least play 3 of these running backs. We're at least going to be playing Ezekiel Elliott, Miles Sanders, and Tyler Algier. Really comes down to, for that second flex spot, are we going to be going with either DeAndre Swift, Mike Williams, or Chris Olave? I'm not going to fault you if you wanted to go in any direction here. If Olave is cleared, fully good to go tomorrow, and you don't have to worry about him being on a snap count or him being limited in the game, we'll probably end up going Olave. Now, JJ says, also, we're going to go Higbee over Andrews. Higbee has been grabbing a tight end since Baker Mayfield joined, and Andrews under Huntley is devastating. I cannot argue with that at all. There's no way I can go through and argue against how bad Mark Andrews has been. And obviously, Higbee just had, such a big week. I am still going to be going Mark Andrews over Tyler Higbee, but just a fair warning. My brain is the size of a walnut, okay? Now, if you've seen Land of the Lost, you know the size of a walnut, but still. Now, Sam says, need help picking a keeper for next year. Saquon in the 4th, Hopkins in the 9th, or Damian Pierce in the 11th. We're going to go Saquon in the 4th. I've played in almost every keeper format imaginable. I've played in every dynasty format imaginable. And one thing that I find, especially in those keeper leagues, is people really overrate the actual keeper costs associated with the player. Just keep the best guy, keep Saquon. Now, our next question coming out from Glory to Ya for Life says, quarterback, we're going to go Herbert or Daniel Jones. We got to go Justin Herbert, even if he doesn't look like Patrick Mahomes, which a lot of people expected him to be, still better than Daniel Jones. 2 running backs between Chubb, Stevenson, McKinnon, Dillon, and 1 for the flex. We're going to go Chubb, Stevenson for our 2 running backs. We're going to be looking at McKinnon versus Dillon. If Aaron Jones misses, you go A.J. Dillon easily. If it's a full BBR format and Aaron Jones plays, at that point, I think we can go McKinnon. Now, Luke says, Bam Knight or Zach Moss in the flex spot for the championship. Assuming Michael Carter plays, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take Zach Moss. Paul says, this is the rest of the team. We have Allen, Jefferson, Chase, Chiefs defense, and the Chiefs kicker. Full BBR from the previous question above. Okay, Paul, let me find this question. Okay, so this is the question regarding the tight end as well as the running backs. Okay, so obviously our strength is not at running back. I think you have a great team, especially this week. The Chiefs get to play the Broncos. Now, 1023 Entertainment says Stevenson, Chubb, or Kamara in a full PBR format. Full PBR, we're going to be going right back to the well with Stevenson, even if he was disappointing this past week. Return to Reason says 8-team non-PBR format. Flex Knight, Deontay Foreman, or Gabe Davis. Thanks, amigo. No, thank you for supporting the channel. We are going to go ahead. We're going to take Deontay Foreman here. If you're looking at Deontay Foreman, it's been frustrating the fact that you're getting chewbobbered with the role, of course. Non-PBR format, the fact that he doesn't catch the ball doesn't matter as much. Gam says, if Lamar Jackson goes, Jones, Minshew, White, or Watson. If Lamar Jackson plays, you play Lamar Jackson. If Lamar Jackson misses, you're going to go ahead and you're going to play Gardner Minshew. Aaron says Trevor Lawrence, Daniel Jones, or Mike White. We're going to go ahead. We're going to be playing Trevor Lawrence, my friend. I mean, I actually don't love the matchup against Houston Texans, just given the fact that, I mean, the probability this turns into a shootout, slim to none. But Lawrence has just been so damn good over the past 6 weeks. Now, Adam says, Superflex, Dylan, Davis Mills, Rashad White, or Gabe Davis. You got to go with the quarterback in your Superflex spot, almost regardless. I'd say the only way we bench the quarterback in that Superflex is if Aaron Jones misses. And then if Aaron Jones misses, you can go A.J. Dillon. Now, Rye Guy McFly coming out with another donation. Don't see a question attached to this donation. Let me see if I can find anything in the live chat from you, my man. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Don't know if you were wanting to say, how much will Derek Carr's benching affect Daniel Carlson? I am so sorry that you donated to have this question answered. Because if I am going to be entirely honest with you, going back to my brain being the size of a walnut, there's only so much information I can put in there. I decided years ago to cut kickers out of all my leagues entirely. I have strict rules with our leagues. If we're going to join a dynasty league, it better be Superflex. It better be tight end premium. It better start 11 or more guys. Every single one of my dynasty leagues has those requirements. If I'm going to join any league, period, dynasty, redraft, best ball, doesn't matter, cannot include kickers, because the last thing I ever want to think about is a kicker in fantasy football. So I am very sorry, my friend. I'm not going to be able to help with kickers here. I'll say Derek Carr getting benched dramatically lowered the implied team total for the Las Vegas Raiders, which can't be a good thing. And now Cooper says, Mason, you're a GOAT this season. I'm in 4 leagues, made the championship in all 4. That is just ridiculous. Rank Lockett, Watson, Akers, Algier, Kirk, Dylan Swift, Mike Williams, Devonta Smith, Judy, and Debo. I am not going to be able to rank all these players, my friend. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm sorry. I can't rank 11 players just randomly. It takes me hours to go through and create those running back and wide receiver rankings videos that we put out every single week. It's easy for me to look at a group of 3 guys and go, okay, I want these 2 out of the 3 off the top of my head, pulling from surface level information. I'm going to get you a running back ranking video tomorrow. Combine that with the wide receiver ranking video we got out today. I think that should be able to be good enough help to answer these questions. I'm sorry, I just can't rank 11 random players. I'd have to sit here and look at it for a long time. And Margaret Ward says, Dylan, A.J. Brown, or Judy if Christian Watson sits for the flex. We're going to go Dylan if Aaron Jones were to miss. If it's a full PPR format, now that we have Colt McCoy back under center, we'll go Hollywood Brown if Aaron Jones were to play. Now, Camden says, hey, Mason, which should I start? We have Lamb, Amari, Kirk, Garrett Wilson, Kittle, Hawkinson, and Mostert. Thanks so much for your help and content in a full PPR format. Now, thank you so much for supporting the channel, my friend. I think we're probably going to go ahead. We're going to be playing Lamb as well as Garrett Wilson at wide receiver. At tight end, we're going to be going with Kittle, assuming Deebo Samuel misses. If Deebo Samuel plays, we'll go Hawkinson. Actually, I kind of want to go Hawkinson regardless. Yeah, so let's go with Lamb and Garrett Wilson. If Deebo Samuel misses, up to you between Kittle and Hawkinson. If Deebo Samuel plays, you have to go Hawkinson. Now, America Mike says, 2 running backs, 2 receivers in a flex and app PPR format. We have Kamara, Walker, Connor, Akers, and our receivers are Metcalf, Godwin, as well as Devonta Smith. I think our 2 running backs we're going to have here, you have to play James Conner, the man seeing 95% of the snaps in his own backfield. Between Kamara and Kenneth Walker, this is where it gets a little frustrating. Probably end up going with Kamara. He's had back-to-back games with 20-plus carries. Our 2 receivers are going to be going with the combo of DK Metcalf and Chris Godwin. I have Godwin ranked wide receiver 15. We have Devonta Smith ranked wide receiver 16. That they are incredibly close. And I think Devonta Smith has a higher ceiling than Kenneth Walker for the flex spot. Walker has a higher floor, so it almost just depends on what you need there. And Kevin says, hey, Mason, I'm worried about James Conner missing practice. I don't have another running back, and this is for the championship. Should I pick up Tyler Algier or Gainwell if Sanders misses? Just in case, thanks, dude. No, thank you so much for supporting the channel. First off, I think James Conner plays. I don't think you have too much to worry about. And I would pick up Tyler Algier as that backup case over Kenneth Gainwell based on what we had over the past 2 weeks. Now, Justin says, championship game in a PPR format. Are we going to go Cousins? We have Cousins, Connor, Brian Robinson, Jefferson, Ingram, Chase, AJ, and we need a flex between Mostert, Sutton, Cooks, Boyd, Higbee. Appreciate the channel, and thank you so much, my man, for being a member of the flock, and I hate you for asking me a nasty question. I don't want to play Sutton. I can't do it. I've never been a Sutton guy. I built an entire brand on calling Courtland Sutton the most overrated player in fantasy. Mostert looks like he's splitting the backfield 50-50 with Jeff Wilson at this point. Brandon Cooks in arguably the worst offense in the NFL. Boyd, now that you have Hayden Hurst back, maybe the fourth option in this offense. Higbee's a tight end. How the hell are we supposed to flex a tight end based off what we had so far this season? How many targets did Brandon Cooks have this past week? Let's pull this up. 9 targets, 4 receptions, and the receiving touchdown. I think we just end up going Brandon Cooks, but I really don't want to. Cam says, hey, Mason, need some advice. Start 3 between Chase, Waddle, Amari, Palmer, Myers, London, Slayton. Thank you. No, thank you so much for supporting the channel. We go Chase, Waddle, Amari. I don't want to overthink it. Start your studs. It's the Fantasy Football Championship. Chase, we don't need to talk about. Waddle, yes, you have Tua missing, which is not great. I would rather have Tua starting than Teddy B. Yes, with Amari, Deshaun Watson's not nearly as good as we thought he was going to be. You still got to play those guys. Just lower your expectations. Wilson says, Judy or Olave, assuming Sutton plays and Olave does well, I would go Olave. And then Cousins or Jared Goff. I'm actually probably going to go ahead and play Jared Goff here, whereas you have the Detroit Lions with the second highest applied team total, only behind the Kansas City Chiefs this week. And Antonio says, quarterback, we have Daniel Jones, Gardner Minshew, Aaron Rodgers, Mike White. I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to play Aaron Rodgers. Love the matchup against Minnesota. I think that the Green Bay Packers put up a lot of points this week. 2 flex spots, so we're unsure. Between Pollard, Judy, Algier, Evan Ingram, Dotson, Chark, Olave, Happy BR. Thanks for the help. No, thank you so much for supporting the channel. We're going to plan on going with Pollard and Tyler Algier, but keep in mind, since Tony Pollard plays on Thursday, I don't care if you have Austin Eckler and Christian McCaffrey as your number 1 and number 2 running backs. Move one of those running backs to the flex spot. Start Tony Pollard as your running back 2 if you're going to start a player on Thursday. You never want them in that flex. Ty says, back again for tight end help. We're going to go Komet versus the Lions over Andrews. Andrews has been bad, but there's no way in hell I can tell someone to play Cole Kmet over him. Andrews has been bad, but you got to go Andrews over Cole Kmet, my friend. Nick says, you tell me, but I made the finals in 21 out of 52 of my dynasty leagues. A lot of help from your advice, my guy. Cashing in heavy this year. Pretty good ratio. Phenomenal ratio. I can guarantee you, I haven't broken down the exact numbers, but I did not make the finals in 50% of my dynasty leagues this year. I would have loved for that to happen. But congrats, my friend. I am super happy for you. I am so happy for you. Now, Ruben says, I really don't like the Josh Jacobs matchup. My only other options are David Montgomery or Pollard, full PBR. Also, Waddle or Garrett Wilson. I will go Garrett Wilson over Waddle now that we have Teddy B starting and you have Mike White back. I don't like it for Josh Jacobs either. I'm still going to play Josh Jacobs. He still sees every snap. He still sees every touch out of this backfield. It's going to be a horrible offense and a horrible matchup. Adam says, will you be doing live Q&As during the offseason for the Dynasty channel? At some points, yes. I have not decided the exact details behind it. I'm definitely going to try to take a small little break here. I'll still be getting Dynasty videos out every single day, but in terms of live streaming every day, outside of the day that Southwest canceled my flight and I had no other option, we've live streamed every single day for, almost like 200 days, something crazy. So I do want a small break here, if I'm going to be honest, just a small one. Now, Brad says, Jones versus the Colts. Russ versus Kansas City. Bridgewater or Mike White. I kind of want to go Mike White. Maybe I'm just too excited in a good matchup against the Seattle Seahawks. Mamadou says, are we going to go Daniel Jones or Brock Purdy because we lost Tua? I think we're going to go with Daniel Jones over Brock Purdy, just given the fact that he has some rushing upside. With Brock Purdy, he's been a good real-life quarterback, but the issue is the 49ers just want to play good defense and run the football, and they should be able to easily do that where they are favored by 10.5 points. Now, John says, we need just one between Pacheco, Singletary, as well as Deontay Foreman. Oh, my God. We probably go Deontay Foreman. And McKinnon wasn't seeing this type of involvement. I think you could say Pacheco in the best offense. But McKinnon's expanded his role in KC. James Cook has expanded his role in Buffalo. But the reason I'm not excited about this at all is Chuba Hubbard has expanded his role in Carolina. It's a tough spot. If you're looking at my rankings, we give the slight edge to Deontay. Now, Shlomo says Goddard or Kmet. I'm feeling risky. Do not. Okay, do not do it. I mean, my friend, you got to go ahead. You have to play Dallas Goddard here. Our next one coming out from Vanagon says start to White, Dotson, Myers, and Akers. Thanks for the help. No, thank you so much for supporting the channel. I think we're going to plan on going with the running backs. I think we're going to plan on going with Cam Akers as well as Rashad White, even if Rashad White has taken a step back to Leonard Fournette over the past few weeks. And Eric says, happy BR start two between Adams, Algier, Chubb, Chark, Dobbs, and also in a full BBR league. If Watson doesn't play, should we start Lazard or Dobbs? Lastly, flex Chark or Akers. Okay, let's go backwards, forwards. We're going to go Akers over DJ Chark, even if you do want as many Detroit Lions in your lineup this week as possible. We're going to go Lazard over Romeo Dobbs if Christian Watson were to miss. Obviously, if Watson plays, he is the number one guy here. And then between the two of Adams, Algier, Chubb, Chark, Dobbs, I 100% agree with you. We have to lower expectations from Chubb and Adams from where they stood a month ago. You still got to play Devontae Adams and Nick Chubb. It's still fantasy football. Volume still king. Talent is talent. These guys get volume, and they have a crap ton of talent as well. Corey says Hopkins or Lockett in the finals. I'm going to go Hopkins. Better matchup, in my opinion. Lockett is a very tough spot going up against the Jets. Lockett coming off an injury. And you have DeAndre Hopkins getting Colt McCoy back in. Healing Meditation says start two. Tyler Algier, Devonta Smith, Christian Watson, as well as A.J. Dillon. I think we're going to go ahead. We're going to be playing a Devonta Smith and Tyler Algier. If you have Aaron Jones missing, however, we will pivot from Tyler Algier to A.J. Dillon. Obviously, you're going to have to continue to monitor Aaron Jones, though. Margaret says, love you, Mason. Thank you for everything. No, thank you so much, my man, for being a long-time member of the flock. Thank you, thank you. And Isaiah says, need help. Start two running backs. We have Pollard, Stevenson, Connor, Walker, Sanders. So we have a lot of good running backs. I think we're going to plan right now on going with probably James Conner and Ramondre Stevenson, with Tony Pollard just banged up a bit here. What's really funny is and I know you're not going to believe me with this. I had my jaw hit the floor when I saw this on Fantasy Pros. But if you go ahead and look at fantasy points per game in a full BBR format from the running back position, weeks 8 through 16, Tony Pollard is number 2, only behind Christian McCaffrey. It's ridiculous, but with him banged up, let's go Stevenson, Connor. And the two receivers between Adams, A.J. Brown, Hopkins, and Garrett Wilson. We're going to go A.J. Brown and Hopkins now that Derek Carr is getting benched, and it's a very tough matchup against the 49ers. But I think that should be about it for this live stream. Of course, I'll be live tomorrow night. I'll be live the next night. I'll be live the next night. I'll be live Sunday morning. After that, I don't know what our plan is for Week 18 because Week 18 is the grossest thing you'll ever see. But if you have not done so already, please go down there, drop a like on this live stream. It helps us out a ton. We are so close to getting 300 likes. And if you want to check out any of these player props, of course, you can find the link to Underdog Fantasy in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK. They'll match your first deposit dollar for dollar up 200. You can get into drafts with us in the live stream, and it's available in damn near every state. But thank you again. I appreciate you. I hope you have a great night and hope we get to see you tomorrow.